and salutations, my dearest friends. My name is Samantha, and today I'm going to be recommending some of my favorite books. Hello, how are you? Welcome or welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to 100 Days, 100 Books. This is a fun challenge. Well, I don't know if you guys think it's fun. I think it's fun. I'm having fun filming it, but it is a challenge I've been doing nonetheless on my channel called 100 Days, 100 Books. So every day for 100 days, I have been recommending one of my favorite books. I've been posting little clips, 1 minute and 30 seconds on my Instagram and my TikTok, along with some graphics, just quickly recommending one of my favorite books. I've been doing this daily, and I have playlists over on there. If you want to follow me, I am Books with Samantha literally everywhere. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. And then here on YouTube, I do a longer format video where you get to see clips throughout the week of me wrapping up what I recommended. Did that make sense? This was the longest intro ever. Basically, I'm kind of doing this series for me because I love yapping about my favorite books. It's my favorite thing to do. And I think it's kind of nice to have a playlist just dedicated to my top recommendations. Obviously, I love filming reading vlogs and tags, and I still film those as well, but these are my favorite videos to film where I am just yapping about everything that I love. I am a little bit of a mood reader, so I do read a variety of genres like romances, cozy mysteries, fantasies, so this is also a good opportunity to chat about some books that I normally don't get to talk about. Anyways, that is my very long introduction on what this series is. I think this is like the 4th installment. We're on day who knows what. Okay, we're like in the 20s and 30s at this point. So if you would like to see the other videos in this challenge, I do have a playlist that I will link down below. And yeah, we're just gonna hop into the clips. I kind of popped in throughout. Did I have red lipstick on my teeth? Embarrassing. If I had red lipstick on my teeth, I'm sorry. I will hop in with the clips. I kind of popped in throughout the week just recommending a book daily, so that is what you guys are gonna see. I am so tired. It is nearly midnight and I've been pre-filming, but I needed to do today's recommendation. I decided to recommend another fantasy book. This is a male fantasy romance. It is A Strange and Stubborn Endurance by Foz Meadows. I would describe this as a slow burn, friends to lovers romance with a marriage of convenience trope. It's filled with a lot of political intrigue and also has a bunch of magic kind of intertwined into the storyline as well. It starts off by following our hero Velison, who is not the heir to his father's kingdom. He doesn't really expect to be involved in politics or inherit anything until one day his father calls him back to the kingdom and tells him that he is being set up into an arranged marriage with a princess from a neighboring kingdom. There are 2 kingdoms that have continuously been at war, but to kind of keep the peace and garner alliances, they are setting up this political marriage. However, our hero is absolutely freaking out when he hears the news because our hero is gay and his family doesn't know that because they're not very accepting, and he knows that they wouldn't be accepting. So he's freaking out at the concept and the idea of having to marry a princess. Everything kind of comes crashing down when our hero is caught with another man. His family freaks out, is not accepting, and essentially kind of like bans him from the kingdom. However, his father is still very committed to keeping this alliance, so the alliance kind of changes. Instead of him marrying the princess of the kingdom, he is now marrying one of the heirs, the prince. It's even more complicated when our hero is traveling to this kingdom and is almost killed by an assassin, and this assassin is saying that he is doing this in his future husband's name. Our other hero, Cathari, Velison's future husband, has no intention of killing him. So now they're realizing that there are political parties that do not want this marriage to happen. So they have to navigate this threat on their life. Again, tons of political intrigue, tons of magic. It is such a sweet romance as well. I do love the plot and the magic and the world building and all that jazz. But what I think this book really excels in is the emotional connection between the characters. And if you guys have learned anything from my recommendations throughout this whole challenge, is that I love emotional romances. I love that emotional connection, feeling like soulmates or fated mates, and that's what this gives. Characters are so well suited for each other. There are quite a few trigger warnings in this book that are listed in the beginning of the book, so make sure to check that out. Our hero Velison is healing from so many different things, and it's so beautiful to read about him being confident in himself while simultaneously falling in love with one of his best friends. Like, it's kind of beautiful and I love it. So yeah, this is the first in the series. I do feel like, honestly though, you can just read it as a standalone. The ending was kind of ambiguous, kind of leading up to the second book, but it really is such a solid book by itself. Don't feel intimidated to think you have to pick up the second book. But yeah, absolutely love this one. A Strange and Stubborn Endurance by Foz Meadows. So if you were looking for a queer romantasy to pick up, this one's great. Audiobook for that book is also really fantastic. So Hello, hello. I am here with another recommendation. By the way, I'm posting Instagram Reels and TikTok Reels for these recommendations every single day on my socials, as well as my Instagram stories. I have a little highlight saved where I am posting graphics. It kind of helps me stay organized as well because I sort of forget which books I have recommended already. I have like this little Canva template that just keeps me organized. Because I decided to kind of mix it up. I am recommending a whole series, really. This is the Wayward Children series by Shauna Maguire. This is a hard series to like put into a specific genre because it is fantasy but also reads almost like an adventure book as well. The Wayward Children series by Shauna Maguire is a series of novellas. They are on the shorter length page-wise, but they still feel like fully fleshed out. The series takes place in a universe where different worlds exist and there are doors that lead to different magical lands. Each door kind of appears itself to a child depending on their own personality, and the only warning they get before entering this land is to be sure. A lot of kids do get thrusted back into the real world after spending time in these magical lands, and it's difficult to adjust. A lot of them want to find their doors again and find their way back to those magical experiences, and that's how they all kind of end up at Eleanor's School for Wayward Children. This school is created for kids who know that different worlds exist. It's helping them adjust and potentially find their doors again. Some of the books can be read as standalones, but I honestly recommend reading them in order. The first, by the way, this is a bind up. It says "be sure" on the front, which is a huge saying within the series, but it's a bind up of the first 3 books in the series. Three-Hearted Doorway, Down Among the Sticks and Bones, and Beneath the Sugared Sky. So it's just a bind up of it. Any hoozles. The first book follows our character Nancy. She has abruptly been thrust into the real world again after she has just spent some time in what essentially is the underworld with like Hades and Persephone. She ends up going to Eleanor's School of Wayward Children, although she desperately wants to find her door again. But when she gets there, something disastrous happens. A classmate who was also her roommate and friend actually ends up murdered, and she needs to figure out what is happening. It is very obvious that something sinister is happening, so they need to figure out what's going on as well as try to find their way back home to their door. I feel like I'm not doing this series justice by describing it because it really is so magical and so adventurous. I would describe this really as like portal fantasy as well as an adventure book. Each story follows a different character. You really get to see their individual experiences and their magical worlds. This has amazing representation throughout all the books. It has queer representation, mental health representation, everything. Books are heavier than others and the trigger warnings are always listed in the beginning of the book, but gosh, it is such a special and unique series. I think Shauna Maguire's writing style is so fantastical and lyrical, and I truly have never read another series like this. It has the ability to like transport you into a different world. Luckily, we have gotten a new installment of the series every January every year, and I hope that Shauna Maguire just like endlessly writes books in this series because it's so fantastic. I've never been disappointed by Wayward Children books. I love this series and I definitely wanted to include it in this 100 Days, 100 Books challenge because it's really one of my favorites. It's a series that I think about often and a series that I reread quite often. I do have a whole video on my channel where I binge read the series and was like catching up on the books that I had missed. So I'll leave that down below and you'll see me talk more in detail about each individual book. But that is my recommendation for today. I love you guys. I will see you tomorrow. Hello there, we are here for another recommendation. Today I decided to mix it up a little and recommend a cozy mystery. In my last video, you guys said that you like to see me mix up genres, so that's what I'm trying to do for you guys. Give you a good mixture of romances, cozy mysteries, fantasies, etc., etc. Maybe we'll recommend a thriller in the future. This is a really good cozy mystery for people who love the genre or people who are new to the genre, and it is a Homicide and Hardcover by Kate Carlisle. This is the first book in the Bibliophile Cozy Mystery series. It is a bookish cozy, if you can't tell. It follows our heroine, Brooklyn, whose job is to restore old books and manuscripts. Her time is spent around books, and she lives a pretty quiet life until one day she ends up finding her mentor dead dead in a pile of his own blood. Her mentor and teacher, Abraham, was restoring a very old classic copy, and right before he dies, he is seen clutching that copy, and the last thing he says to her is, "Remember the devil." Now, Brooklyn has absolutely no idea what this is supposed to mean, but she quickly finds herself the key suspect in this murder. The detective working on the case thinks that somehow she is involved in what's going on, so not only does she have to clear her name, but she also has to figure out what happened to her mentor that she was really close with. So it ends up following the mystery. Her and her best friend end up working together to see what's happening. This is just a solid start to the series. Like I said, it is the first book in the Bibliophile mystery series. I personally love bookish cozies because I am such an avid reader. My favorite types of cozy mysteries are baking cozies, bookish cozies, or cozies with like witches and paranormal type things. This is such a good read for fall time. It really gives those vibes. I love reading cozies year round, but especially during fall and winter. That's like the best time to read cozy mysteries. Also, I got a haircut. I don't know if you guys can tell. I don't know if you guys can tell or whatever. But, yeah, I needed a haircut. My hair was getting a little long. So, and my Halloween Hocus Pocus shirt. I'm just trying to, like, summon fall where I live because it's been so hot recently. And, you know, just trying to manifest it into reality. This is today's recommendation, and I will see you guys in the next clip for tomorrow's recommendation. Hello, not wearing any makeup today because I actually forgot to film this clip, and then when I went to go edit I was like, oh, I'm missing this book. So anyways, I'm here for today's recommendation, and today I thought I would mix it up and actually recommend a fan fiction. I'm trying to give like a good variety of recommendations, and honestly this is probably my favorite fan fiction that I've read. It is a Dramini fan fiction, so Draco and Hermione. It is Remain Nameless by Hey June 19. I read it on AO3. I do have a reading blog where I read this book and kind of talked about some other fan fiction books that I really love that I'll leave it down below. But this fan fiction is just so good and so cozy. It is a Dramini fan fiction, so Draco and Hermione from Harry Potter. It follows our characters 10 years after the Battle of Hogwarts. Draco is in his healing era, if you will. He is definitely struggling with the aftermath of being a Death Eater and how people are treating him and everything that he went through. And he ends up seeing Hermione at a Muggle coffee shop, and the two of them end up reconnecting and realizing that they really like each other and they have a lot of chemistry, and it's so cozy and sweet. A lot of the book takes place in this small bakery, and it just gives this warm, cozy feeling. The description of like the setting and the food, I love so much. It's like a perfect fall read as well because of how cozy it is, and I just love this version of Draco. I am of the mindset that literally anybody else would have been better for Hermione than Ron. Like, I will die on that hill. The fact that those two ended up together baffles me. Like, literally anyone else would have been better. But love this fan fiction. Just a quick disclaimer, I support free fan fiction. Just because I'm reading fan fiction doesn't mean I am supporting transphobic authors like J.K. Rowling. Fan fiction should be free and it should stay free. And these beautiful bindings were gifts from my lovely friend Mel over at Mel Binds Fix. She is a phenomenal artist bookbinder. She's amazing. I absolutely love her. Let's just get into these books for a second because her art and craftsmanship is impeccable. My recommendation for today, I absolutely love fan fiction, and this is definitely one of my favorites. So I just love this one so much. You have to read it. That's it. I will see you guys in my next clip. Hello. 12:44 a.m. So almost 1 o'clock in the morning. But yeah, we're here to give you a recommendation. So we're here for a book recommendation. My light just died. Oh, so wonderful. This is not great lighting, is it? Let me go sit in front of my vanity because that has better lighting. One sec. Literally, of course, this would happen to me. I never charge my cameras or my lights. I'm always a big mess. I used to have like a huge ring light that I would use, but now I just use like this tiny one I got off TikTok shop. She's bright. She is bright, okay? But yeah, I always forget to charge her. Anyways, I'm a little loopy, but I'm here to give you a recommendation. And I was very inspired by the fall season, spooky season, so I thought it would be fun to recommend a monster romance to you guys. I don't know if I've recommended a monster romance in this little challenge. So this is technically a series that you do have to read in order, so I'm kind of recommending them all together. This is the Girls Weekend series by Sam Costa, who I absolutely love. Love her so much. I've read nearly her entire backlist, given all of her books 5 stars. I am a huge fan of her as a person. I also really love her writing style. Her romances are very fun, unique, and steamy. Yeah, I could sing her praises, and I have multiple times on my channel. This is right now a trilogy. The 4th book will be coming out soon, but it starts off with Girls Weekend. This follows 3 different heroines. They are elves, and they're all co-workers. They decide that they want to have a fun girls weekend, hence the title. So they plan a trip to go to a resort that is really known for having these big, sexy orcs, okay? They're there to have a good time, a good, steamy, sexy time, and they do. It follows our 3 characters, Riz, L'Oreal, and Silva. I have no idea if I'm pronouncing those names correctly, but it follows our 3 heroines as each of them find their individual romances. I absolutely love it. It's fun, it's sexy, it's steamy. This takes place in the Cambric Creek series, which is a universe that consists of different paranormal and monster romances. I will say the reason I love her book so much is because yes, they're monster romances that are sexy, steamy, fun, unique, all of those things, but she actually has a lot of great representation in her books. In this series, I know she talks about body image issues. In some of her other series, she has amazing mental health representation, and she's able to seamlessly blend those very serious and important topics and conversations that happen in real life, and she puts that into a paranormal universe, so it feels very relatable but also very fun. And yeah, her books are hot, but they're also emotional, and they're also sweet, and just like a good blend of everything. So I feel like that's why I love all of her books so much, because they give you a little bit of everything. So if you are a monster romance reader and you have never read her books, I think Girls Weekend is a really good place to start. It's one of her older books. I also love these covers. The first book is Girls Weekend. The second book is Parties. Gorgeous. And then the most recent book is Invitations. Again, there will be a 4th installment in this series as well. So my recommendation for today, check out Sanderson Costa. Again, I will leave the video where I go over her entire backlist and some of my favorite books by her down below if you want a real deep dive into it. But yeah, that's my recommendation for the day. Hi, hello. Ignore the mess in the background. I was pre-filming some other videos. I almost knocked over my painting. Anyways, hi, hello, how are you? I am here for a recommendation. Now, today's recommendation. This is one of my favorite books of all time. However, I actually don't recommend this book to many people or very often because it is a kind of polarizing book. Let me tell you what it is. Okay, it is Push by Nyla K. I would like to preface this by saying that this book, and I acknowledge this book is very messy and very taboo and maybe a little toxic, if you will. It has a lot of tropes that might not resonate or hit with certain people, and I understand that, I do. But I also love it. I fucking love this book. I really do. And I continuously think about it, and it is one of my favorites, and I just gotta be honest about it. Sometimes I like something that is a little toxic. I don't know what that says about me as a person, and I quite frankly do not care, okay? Sometimes you just need a book that is bonkers, crazy, and that's this book for me. It's Push by Nyla K. Okay, let's talk about it. So I'm doing a terrible job at actually recommending it to you. It's one of those situations where I'm like, I need to know your vibe, okay? I need to suss you out a little bit. What are your favorite books? If you're someone who's reading like, I don't know, Emily Henry, I'm not going to recommend this to you. But if you're someone who's reading Haunting Adeline or Untouchable by Sam Mariano, fucking poly romances, why choose romances, then I'm like, yeah, you're my people and this is for you. So I just need to know, like, what's your vibe? This is a very polarizing book. People absolutely love it or absolutely hate it. There is no in between, and that is totally valid, but it is still one of my favorites. All right, I gave the warnings. I talked about how messy it is. Let's jump into the synopsis. The book starts off by following a married couple, Ben and Jessica. They got married very young. They're high school sweethearts, and they had their daughter very young as well. Their daughter is bringing home a boyfriend for the first time over Thanksgiving break. Now, when she brings this boyfriend home, something very interesting happens. Ben, our hero, actually ends up having a connection with the boyfriend, Ryan, our other hero. Yeah, okay, so the dad and the boyfriend end up having this very taboo situationship, if you will. Does this have a slight cheating trope? Maybe. Depends how you read it, depends how you view it. I'm not here to judge. Our heroine Jessica, the wife, ends up finding out about the situation. Instead of being horrified or angry or upset, she's like, actually, this is kind of hot. It's kind of sexy. Let me join in. Let's turn this into a polyamorous situation. And she does. That is what dreams are made of, okay? 3 of them end up falling into a very taboo polyamorous romance, which is quite literally what dreams are made of, in my opinion. And I love it. It is angsty, it is messy, it is slightly toxic, but in the best way. You guys know how I feel about polyamorous romances. They're my favorite. I love them. Books and in real life. I don't know what to tell you. I just think more people are more fun, and this book is a great example of that. Whenever I recommend this book, some people are like, but what about the daughter? The daughter's fine. She's fine. The daughter's fine. I don't want to hear about her. She's fine. She's fine. I like Nyla K's writing. There's something very addicting about it. She loves a taboo romance. She loves it, but she also somehow manages to make it very like emotional and romantic as well, that at the end of it you're like, yeah, I love these characters together, 100%. I read quite a few books by her and I love them. She is my go-to whenever I want something very, very messy and very, very angsty. It is quite a long book. It's almost 500 pages, and then there's a novella that's attached to it. Altogether, it's almost like 600 pages if you read the book and the accompanying novella. I devoured all 600 pages when I read it, and it essentially became my whole personality for like a month straight. I couldn't talk about or recommend anything else but this book. I understand that this book might not be for everyone. Okay, the girls that get it, and the girls that don't. But I have to recommend it because it's one of my favorites. Anyways, do you guys like my shirt? It says more people, more fun. I don't know if you can see it actually. Can you see it?
More people, more fun. More people, more fun. Hey, more people, more fun. Hey.
If you like this shirt, it's mine. I have this design up on Bonfire. I made it a really long time ago. Literally made it for myself because I always say more people, more fun. But if you want it, it comes in a t-shirt and a sweatshirt and all the things and all the colors. So I'll leave that link down below if you want to get it for you, if you like wide shoes or poly romances. Anyways, that is my recommendation for today. Let me know if you guys have read this book and if you like it, and I'll chat with you later. Hello. I almost forgot to film my recommendation for the day. I have been really busy at work and a little sick and just kind of like generally in a funk. Like I cannot explain it. I've been in a funk emotionally and physically, and honestly, the thing that is kind of helping me not rot away in my bed and just like curl under the covers is this challenge that I'm doing, 100 days, 100 books, because it's giving me something exciting to look forward to. Like I'm thinking, okay, what am I going to recommend tomorrow? What makeup am I going to pair with the book? Okay, what graphic am I going to post? I've been posting like songs with the graphics too. So like what song do I feel like really resonates with this book? Like I'm just, you know, having fun. And then of course it's also forcing me to get up, do my makeup, turn on the camera, and not, you know, sink into the funk that I've been feeling. So yeah, if you guys are watching this little series that I'm doing, whether it's on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube, because I'm doing it on 3 platforms, thank you for, you know, following me on this journey, and I hope you guys are enjoying it as much as I am. A little sappy, but you guys know I'm a sappy person. I'm an emotional person. I will find, you know, emotion out of anything. Anyways, today's recommendation is going to be a high epic fantasy, and it's Warbreaker by Mr. Brandon Sanderson, the man, the myth, the legend. I love him. I truly do, guys. I am new to the Cosmere universe. I'm not an expert. I just started reading it this year, but I enjoy it. I genuinely enjoy his books so much. I do have a playlist of me, you know, reading his books if you want to check that down below. The question that I get often is, one, is he worth the hype? Absolutely. Like, absolutely. I think Brandon Sanderson is hyped for a reason. He is just brilliant. I don't know what to say, guys. Like, his world building, his writing, it just clicks in my brain so well. And the second question I always get is, where do you start? Now, his backlist is intense, okay? He is Mr. Alexander Hamilton himself. He writes, like, a bajillion books a year. It's actually insane. And his backlist can be very daunting because a lot of his books connect. A lot of them are very long. Everyone has their own opinions on where you should start. However, me personally, as someone who was intimidated by his lengthy backlist, this is where I would recommend you guys to start. Now, I love his secret projects. I've talked about those on my channel, and I recommended one earlier in this challenge. I recommended Trust of the Emerald Sea. But one that I think is such a good place to start as well is Warbreaker. This is considered as a standalone, but it does still loosely connect to the Cosmere universe. This is an adult high epic fantasy with a very cool magic system and a lot of political intrigue. It essentially follows two kingdoms that come from the same origins but are vastly different. The story starts off by following two sisters who are princesses of a kingdom. Years ago, there was a peace treaty made between the two kingdoms that the royal family agreed to a political marriage. So one of their heirs is going to be essentially sacrificed into this political marriage to marry what they call the God King. The God King is a god that the other kingdom celebrates. He was born as a stillborn and kind of rebirthed as this god with an immense amount of power. Her entire life, the eldest sister is kind of trained for this experience. She's kind of being trained as a future queen and taught how to navigate political climates. However, the king actually ends up switching it up and sending his youngest daughter. Follows the two sisters as they are navigating this new political world and realizing that they didn't know too much about the history and the magic as they thought they did. The magic is very, very unique. It consists of what they call a breath. Everyone is born with one breath, and although it cannot be stolen, it can be freely given. The world is surrounded by colors, and with this breath, you can breathe life into inanimate objects, and breath is essentially used as currency. People with a lot of breath tend to be in high political power. They also celebrate and worship these lesser gods and donate their breaths to them. It is, again, a very unique magic system. I kind of struggle to explain it because you really do get to learn the magic system as the story progresses. Brandon Sanderson does an amazing job at describing all of the dynamics. Obviously, I am not as good with prose as Mr. Brandon Sanderson, but it is very easy to follow along. Essentially, we're following this cast of characters as they are navigating these two warring kingdoms. I think this book is perfect for people who love epic fantasies, but also people who are just getting into fantasy. The world is quite literally filled with so much color and beautiful writing and a cast of characters that you cannot help but feel connected to. This has one of my favorite characters I've ever read about, Lightsong. If you know, you know. I absolutely love the characters in this book. They are flawed, but also incredibly written, and again, you cannot help but root for them. His books are hyped up for a reason. I love them. Most of them I've given 5 stars, but Warbreaker is exceptionally special, in my opinion. That's my recommendation for today. I really hope you do pick it up. If you do, DM me and we can chat about it, because I just love talking about this book. Or if you've already read it, let's chat about it. All right, those are my 7 recommendations for the week. Hopefully you found something that sounds interesting. If you've read any of these books, let me know what you thought of them. If there are any tropes, genres, or even books that you want me to read and maybe feature in this series, let me know and I would love to do that. As always, if you stayed till the end of this video, because I know this video was long, what should you leave me? I'm wearing red lipstick today. I don't always wear red lipstick, so leave me some red lips, red kisses emojis down below if you stayed this long and you enjoyed the video. Leave those little red kiss emojis and I will know that we're bookish besties. Anyways, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend time with me. It means the world to me. I hope you guys are all staying happy and healthy, and I will see you in my next video.